Izumo Tech, or better for this video, let's call them Izumo Sketch. They are the biggest anti-kaiju weapon manufacturer in Kaiju number 8. If you've read the manga or watched the anime, then you've seen one of these logos plastered everywhere within the series, whether it's on weapons or suits. Some examples of where you may have seen one of these two logos are, like I said, the basic Defense Force suit, the basic weapon used by all officers, every single one of Mina's cannons, every single numbered suit in the series, and every single assigned numbers weapon. That's a lot of stuff, right? We even learned that their research advancement goes beyond weapon making because they found a way to give Narumi eyes from Kaiju number 1. Like its name, Izumo Tech is run by the Izumo family, and the scion to Izumo Tech is actually one of our main protagonists in the story, Haruichi Izumo. We learned early that Haruichi joined the Defense Force for family reasons, but bro has never really delved into what those reasons are. Now, with a corporation like Izumo that controls so much within the kaiju world, why do we know so little about them? Everything surrounding Izumo Tech has been shady to me for a while now, and the deeper that we get into this story, the more that I'm beginning to think that Izumo Tech could be more corrupt or at least hiding a lot of important information regarding kaiju, that way they can keep their status as the #1 manufacturer. Especially whenever I watched the recent episode 8 of the anime. We got some anime only content where Haruichi was pulled to the side by that chef at a party that was celebrating the completion of everybody's first mission, right? In this conversation, we see him talking to an Izumo family chef whose name was Dojima, I believe. And Dojima told Haruichi that he thought he was never going to get to see him again. And he also asked how things have been between him and his pops. And Haruichi was like, I haven't really spoken to my dad since that event happened. And whenever he said that, Aoi Kaguragi kind of popped up, and Haruichi just got super tense, bro. Super tense, and was just hoping that Kaguragi didn't hear anything. And just seeing how tense Haruichi got, it lets me know that even he knows that there's some weird things happening surrounding his dad, and possibly even some weird things happening over at Izumo Tech. And we'll talk about that in this video. Let's get into it. Now, throughout the series, we keep learning more and more as we go on. And one thing that has always bothered me is just how much information the Defense Force at large does not know about kaiju. There are multiple times where the 3rd Division has to get educated by Kafka on what kaiju they're fighting. Obviously, Kafka was a kaiju janitor before he joined the force, but it's still odd to me that the Defense Force doesn't have general knowledge of the kaiju that they're fighting. Many of these same officers went to college for neutralizing kaiju, yet they don't have basic knowledge on kaiju other than shoot the core and the kaiju is dead. Not only that, but we have seen fully the role that the Defense Force plays when it comes to kaiju. The Defense Force's job is to neutralize these kaiju, but that is where their job ends, right? From there, the monster sweepers come in and they clean up the huge kaiju corpses, and Izumo Tech comes in and they collect kaiju tissue samples to research, make weapons, make suits, and even help Defense Force members heal faster. Remember, Kikoru said that Reno was going to be able to heal up a little bit faster because our new research allows kaiju tissues to be used in the healing process, and it speeds things up. And she said that she spoke from experience. So if anything, it almost seems like Izumo Tech is gatekeeping information about kaiju, especially when I look at 2 experiments that they've been able to accomplish recently within the manga. I believe Izumo Tech successfully turned Bako into a hybrid between a kaiju and a tiger, and even Kaiju number 9 was amazed at what he was looking at when he was fighting Bako. He wanted to take Bako and experiment on him, dissect him, because even he couldn't believe how rare of a specimen Bako is. Izumo Tech also successfully turned Gen Narumi into some sort of a hybrid because he no longer has human eyes. Narumi has the eyes of Kaiju number 1. It sounds so simple when you think about it because Narumi is cool, but really think about this, yo. They successfully implanted the eyes of a kaiju into a human. And not only that, Narumi found a way to make those eyes evolve further than what Kaiju number 1 could do itself. Do you know how advanced Izumo's research has to be to accomplish this? Do you know how much information they must have in order to turn a tiger into a hybrid kaiju? There's a good possibility in my mind that Izumo Tech has started working with fault energy, the same thing that kaiju number 9 was referencing a chapter ago, and that's how they possibly created Bako, dog. And if you just keep thinking about it, Izumo Tech's research on kaiju has really allowed for them to completely revolutionize how society at large fights kaiju. Because of them creating suits and high-powered rifles, the Defense Force doesn't have to fight kaiju using those old primitive techniques like Hoshina's ancestors. Now the Defense Force has advanced weapons, railguns, advanced suits, and most importantly, the numbered suits. We know that there had to have been hybrids in the past because we saw the ghost of the Ryunei shrine. In the past, in order to gain the power of a daikaiju, someone would have had to become a hybrid, similar to what Kafka is now with number 8, because we didn't have the technological advancements to create suits. What Izumo Tech has done by creating these numbered suits does have some good to it. They've eliminated the need to become a hybrid in order to obtain daikaiju-like power. And that's part of even what kaiju number 9 was talking about when he said that humans always use our tools to overcome our weaknesses. The numbered suits diminish a daikaiju's looks, desires, and memories. And I think that, honestly, this is not only safer for general society, but we've also seen what happens when a daikaiju's desires do come to the forefront. Just look at what happened whenever Kafka was fighting Isao and he lost himself, dog. Not only that, but a numbered suit ensures that you don't have to fully transform into a kaiju, instead of becoming a hybrid and fully transforming like Kafka is. And then finally, just in general, it looks a lot less scary to see a human wearing a suit fighting a kaiju, like Kikoru versus kaiju number 15, versus seeing a kaiju versus a kaiju like kaiju number 8 versus kaiju number 9, right? So there are a lot of inherently good things about using these numbered suits as opposed to becoming a hybrid kaiju, right? But with this information, I can't tell you exactly what is up Izumo Tech's sleeve. But what I do know is that they are hiding a lot of information from everyone regarding kaiju. Kaiju have been around since before we had advanced kaiju research. We know this because we saw Hoshina's ancestors fighting kaiju way back when primitively, and we also saw people way in the past that kaiju number 9 absorbed. But at the same time, there's still so much information that we don't know. I think that Izumo Tech is gatekeeping a lot of this information. They could know more about hybrids, how to make kaiju, where kaiju come from, and even more so, I think that they could know a lot more about this fault energy that kaiju number 9 has referenced than what we even know. But revealing all of this information would almost be like giving a cure to people. When you give a cure, the money stops flowing. Izumo's family wealth dwarfs even the Shinomiya family. Remember, Kikoru said that directly. Would they really want to put all of that at jeopardy? Somewhere in this kaiju timeline, Izumo Tech rose to power. Now they have their hand in every step of the way when it comes to kaiju. They have a hand in creating the weapons, giving those weapons to the Defense Force, also having all these kaiju tissue fibers brought to them so that they can do more research on it. They are the only organization that has a hand in each and every part of the kaiju process. So what do you think, dog? Is Izumo Tech hiding information about kaiju? Or am I just down this insane kaiju rabbit hole and I need to get it out of my head rent free? Regardless, if you watch this video, as always, arigato, and I will be back in a week for our next kaiju number 8 chapter. So until then, I hope that y'all have a good one, and peace.